This is the relocation video.
This is where the rubber meets the road, where we actually go from point A to point B.
We are fully remote, 100%. There's no going back unless we decide to go back.
We are diapers on a plane.
Which I want to make a correction there. The 9 to 5 still comes with us. But
it looks different, though.
But it looks different.
It looks different.
For sure.
We're still working. This is not a vacation. We are not gallivanting. We're not traveling in the traditional sense, and we're not on vacation. We are working. We are schooling. We're doing all the same things. We're just not doing it the way that we're told we have to.
Yeah, so I think what we're really doing is we're leaving the traditional suburban lifestyle.
There you go. Yes.
Goodbye.
And this is that video. All right, if you're just tuning in and this is your first video seeing us, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Please consider liking and subscribing. We talk about world schooling in the real world. The world is our classroom. We talk about working remote, living remote, and seeing the world, but not traveling, not luxury travel, just real world, middle-class family, making the most of the life that we have.
So in the first video, we talked about why we left, how we felt stuck at our current situation.
About feeling stuck and unhappy in your current location for a long time.
In video 2, we talked about how we had kind of done a version of this in the past. We had lived remote before, but it was for shorter chunks of time, and how that led us to wanting to do it now full time.
And video number 3 was how we go about choosing the destinations we're going to go to.
So today is about relocation. And while I'm actually thinking about it, I realized we said always that France was our first time living remote. It was our first time living for an extended period of time in a place where we were not.
Was it not?
So I realized it was a vacation, but for me, it was so life-changing. But we went to the Philippines for 2 weeks to somebody that had never been out of the country, that had never and I was so shell-shocked. But that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
So, of course, the first question about relocating with children or moving across states with kids is, when do we leave? And originally we wanted to leave around October or November, but there was no way that was ever going to work.
Because of many reasons. One, when you're leaving to transition to a new place, even if it's just a general move or a relocation for work, is you have to find a lull in your position, in your job. In October and November, I was very busy at my current job, which, by the way, was already remote. We were just working in our permanent home. I had transitioned to a new job a few months prior. And so because we had that remote job already, we wanted to get the heck out of Dodge. Like, that clock started ticking as soon as I started working remotely.
Would you call that relocation?
That was relocation, right?
Yeah. So being remote was not the issue. It was where we wanted to be remote,
right,
if you will. So, and not only that, but our children were all involved in something. We had lived here for 2 years, and we got them involved in this homeschool PE class that was recurring that we had paid tuition for. And they were enrolled in orchestra and in a band and in music lessons. And we were paying a tuition for that, and we had to see it through. And not only was it unfair to pull them out, and all the hard work they had put into it. But we, of course, asked them, like we talked about in the last video, we take their input in, they're part of the family too. And we asked them, you've put all this, do you want to finish it out, or do you want to go now?
And it wasn't just the lessons. They had concerts and presentations that put the date out a little bit further.
Yeah. So once all those had wrapped up, we had a date set, and it was the middle of December, which is a couple weeks before Christmas. And that is not ideal, probably for obvious reasons.
So some of those things are, regardless of when you leave, you're going to have things like packing up your house and cleaning it up and get it all ready to move. Christmas is that extra special thing where you have to prepare gifts. You have a Christmas tree, you have Christmas lights, that whole Christmas feeling that takes a little bit of time to start putting up. Actually, we already had known that we were going to move, but we still put our Christmas tree up right after Thanksgiving so we could get that Christmas feeling. Then we had to take it down and pack it up again.
It was worth it.
It was totally worth it, but there is a lot. For us, like that wasn't as big a stress getting ready for Christmas and packing it up because we had done it before. We'd actually gone on a cruise and gone to another country and had to put all our Christmas presents and hide them in luggage. And so we weren't, it wasn't new.
Well, not only that, but we did a cruise, Caribbean cruise, and then went to Norway from that Caribbean cruise, and we had to take it all with us. So yes, we did have some experience doing this. We had kind of done a trial run, if you will. It was a dress rehearsal. So we knew how to plan ahead for gifts. And I mean, Amazon is like saves the day when it comes to stuff like that. And then also we had to decide where to go because we were remote and we knew we had kind of narrowed it down. This is what we narrowed it down to. We had lived in the Pacific Northwest. We've lived in the Rocky Mountains. We've lived in Florida, Texas, and the Midwest. So the places that were left that were still in the United States, which as we started this journey out, we wanted to stay more in the States while we got the hang of it with his job. So we narrowed it down to the Great Lakes area, which we went on a summer trip to. You can watch that road trip through the Great Lakes. That was so fun. And then the Northeast, which we had traveled to a ton because I used to work for JetBlue and that's like their hub. So we had been there a lot. And then also the Carolinas. So those were kind of our three regions that we were trying to decide between. But Hawaii was also really enticing. And I was like set. I was like, let's go to Hawaii. This is the best time ever to go.
Going to Hawaii.
Let's do it.
Which honestly would have been amazing with the weather, especially going through this cold season, which the cold and snow is awesome, but there's something magical about Hawaii as well. Ultimately, though, I don't think that Hawaii would have been a good choice for the first location, or maybe even the second or third, because so much preparation goes into that first move. Because not only are you packing everything up, putting it into a storage unit and then deciding what you're going to keep to take with you, and then top that off onto then leaving that behind and getting on a plane. It became too much. The more we talked about Hawaii, the further we moved about that being an option to go on.
And I was super gung-ho about all of this. This was kind of my like brainchild. I was feeling super overwhelmed about going to Hawaii. There were so many things that we had to take into consideration. What to store, what to take, how much can we take, how much luggage can we take, how much do we want? You know, there was a lot to go into it. How long do we stay? When can we come back? Now, because I wanted a super Christmassy Christmas, and I knew that we were going to lose out on a lot of the Christmas festivities in the Christmas season because we would be driving and relocating, I decided to just find the most Christmassy place in our three regions that we were looking at spending. And we found it. And we found it in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And did we go there?
I didn't. Did you guys? I think you might have went.
We did end up going there, but not for Christmas. So what we ended up doing was we left Texas. We ended up in just outside of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania in Jim Thorpe. And all along the way, I planned Christmassy stops. And it ended up being so joyful.
So our first stop on the way there was Roseland, Louisiana.
What I really wanted to do was go to this huge festival. Everybody's heard of it.
Natchitoches.
Which is in Louisiana. But as you can imagine, not everything went off without a hitch. So number one, the first thing that happened is that it took way too long to get everything out of our house as planned, right? So we took everything out and we put it in storage. And we're going to talk about that in our next video.
There's so much to talk about that. It's all I still have PTSD.
We will talk about that next time, but it took a lot of time to get all that stuff out.
Everything takes longer than you think. So Natchitoches was our choice. Catherine had taken so much time planning each one of our stops, and we were already behind.
We also found out while we were on the road, we had just bought a brand new car to pull our trailer, that we weren't supposed to drive too fast, pulling the trailer, because it would be too hard on the car for the first 500 miles. So then we were like going slower. So needless to say, we weren't going to make it to Natchitoches in time.
So we ended up in Roseland, Louisiana. So here's kind of the funny part is there are a lot of Christmas festivals. There's like the big well-known ones and then smaller ones. So Roseland was our first Christmas festival.
And I think they were really trying to copy Natchitoches. And it was just a couple hours. It actually saved us hours the next day because we didn't have to go as far. But it was so cute.
And what was fun about it too, just kind of in the moment, is the weather was not great. And so it was a very, very, I mean, there weren't a lot of people there, but all the festive stuff was. So it was a ton of fun. And the lights at that place were massive. They just kept going on and on through like 2 parks. They had this really fun little locomotive. Our youngest is obsessed with trains. And so we got to take him on a train ride, which the train broke down the first time we tried. So we had to get some like rain pass. So we were able to go back and actually give him his ride.
I'm pretty sure it was a lawnmower.
It was like a lawnmower.
It was like a covered lawnmower.
It was like a gas pull engine in it. It was a really small train.
It was really cool.
It was really cool.
We got to see Santa there. They had a trombone-only band that played Christmas carols.
Only trombones.
They had like a marshmallow roasting station.
Marshmallow.
And they had some food trucks. It was so festive and it was so fun. And then they ended the night with this surprisingly large fireworks show that were right over our heads. Like I was like shocked. We were all like, it was right there.
Big shout out to Roseland. Also had some gumbo that was okay and some overpriced corn dogs because we were starving.
So we stayed there that night and then the next day we left and we ended up in Jackson, Mississippi. So you can see, we're taking this path from Texas to Pennsylvania. We want to stay primarily on the path, but also make sure that we hit the festivals that we can hit. So Jackson, Mississippi had this really cute downtown scene. They had like a whole bunch of carnival rides. This is Mississippi. It's the winter and it's not too cold. They had all these lights that you could walk through. They had Santa Claus there. They had all these like food vendors.
Yeah, this really cool town square, but it was all frozen solid. They had basically canceled the whole thing. I think they had one hot chocolate vendor still open.
And they turned on the lights. And that was it.
And they had some lights. Some other people were walking around absolutely bitter cold.
Oh, it was, I couldn't believe it was Mississippi. It was so cold.
So cold.
Okay, say bird.
It's been a cold winter, by the way. Like
everybody knows
records have been broken. So that was our second stop.
So we didn't get to see as much, but it was still we didn't get to do as much, but it was still a ton of fun. So then, of course, we kept going and we made it to Atlanta. Now, we were at the end of the semester and we did have this lull in work, but there were a couple things that you had to do.
Right.
And we needed to have a place for him to do it. That wasn't like a gas station that we made sure we got, make sure we get to this gas station in time and then we'll all leave and you can sit in the car and do your, right. And I have a best friend that I've known for years that lives in Atlanta. So I was like, this is a natural stop. And Dahlonega is in Georgia and they have this massive Christmas city that's out in Dahlonega and they film a bunch of Hallmark movies there. And it just looked like such a picturesque, perfect place to celebrate a Christmas night. And then we also got to see our friends. We went on a double date. It was so fun. We went to this Christmas pop-up. They had fake snow inside the restaurants.
Oh, I had this massive veal parmesan. It was like, but really fun seeing some friends. And Dahlonega, it was an awesome little town to visit.
Oh, it was so cute. It was totally decked out. They had all these, this town square. And they had all their shops open. Everything was so cute. Great restaurants. The kids still talk about these tacos they got at this restaurant that we were there. But all in all, like up till now, the stops we made were lots of Christmas lights. And just feeling this Christmas spirit, Christmas trees that were decorated and places that you could go shop and boutiques that you could get like specialty Christmas items at and just really feeling that Christmas festival spirit all along the way.
And Dahlonega was like, it's the quintessential little Hallmark Christmas town.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Okay, so our next stop along the route was this little town called McAdenville. And that is, you have to see that one to believe it. In this one, the whole town color coordinates all of their Christmas lights. So they're all red, white, and green. Like it's against the law to use blinking lights or multicolor lights. It's just like solid reds, greens, and whites. And words cannot do it justice. Like, it was so cool. We had to drive through it twice to really get the full gist of it. There were like roads blocked off. There was like traffic just to start down the road to go through McAdenville. Like, super, super cool. Once again, super cold, so we couldn't stop and get like any food or treats there. But it worked out really well because it's very much a drive-by Christmas light show.
I was gonna say there wasn't really anywhere to stop there. Yeah. This is definitely we could have gotten out and walked around. We could have parked and walked around, but it was raining again. We really hit the rain on this trip. So we opted not to get out, but they even have permanent street signs on the road that tell you how to get there because it's so well known. It's so incredible. They also block off, so you have the main route that you take, but you can see through the houses, or there's a big lake and they even have decorated trees that are floating on the lake. And you can see through and all the houses. It's like a giant neighborhood and all the houses have these same colors. They're all uniform. And it was just so beautiful.
And I wonder if you decide not to hang any lights, if the city just comes and does it.
Right.
It makes you wonder because they were all decked out.
All of them. And the trees were I remember asking you, how did they get those lights up on those trees? Because they were just so tall.
I'm pretty sure they trained squirrels and raccoons to do it. Okay, our next stop, while not as bright, was definitely very festive. It was in Midlothian, Virginia. And Catherine had found this German beer garden, bar/restaurant that had these live Christmas concerts and reading of the Christmas story.
I was so excited about this one. So they're called the Three Scrooges. You can look them up. And they read Dickens' Christmas Carol. And they each take a turn. They're incredible voice actors. I mean, they did look the part. Well, one of them looked the part. The other ones weren't as dressed up. But you could have closed your eyes and thought that you were in a performance. It was so cool. They had different voices and they really acted it out. They had special effects, they had special noises. And it was just this really immersive, really, really cool experience. And apparently these Three Scrooges have been doing this for years. They used to do it at their house. They got too big. They had too many people coming. So they had to get a venue. And so we got to go to that venue. And then after the reading, and this beer garden was fun. They also had a campfire and you could roast marshmallows and they gave them away to the kids, free of charge. They also had free hot chocolate and didn't they have popcorn too?
Yeah, that popcorn and the s'mores and really good, authentic German food.
Yeah. And then after the reading, they took a little break and then they had the local School of Rock, which if you're not familiar with School of Rock, our son was actually in a School of Rock in Texas, and it's basically a rock school, like Jack Black's movie.
Yeah, you prepare and play in bands, and so they had I think it's their elite group or whatever come out, and they did a lot of different musical sets
all Christmas.
Surprisingly, amazingly good.
Yeah. And so that was fun. That was very different. It wasn't, like he said, as bright, but I really liked that because it was so festive and also a little bit different.
Yep. I like doing things that are non-traditional too. So it was really cool. Then we got to Pennsylvania.
So we took 5 stops, but 8 days because we were in Atlanta for a few days to get from Texas to Pennsylvania. And we were toast. That's why we never made it to Bethlehem, because it was a lot of driving and we were about 45 minutes outside of Bethlehem. So it was going to be a 2-hour round trip. And we were Jim Thorpe has is super Christmassy. So we just decided not to end up going to the place that we actually chose the destination for.
Jim Thorpe was so festive and awesome. Plus we got there and then it was Catherine's birthday. So every year we have to separate the two when you have a birthday 2 days from Christmas.
Christmas Adam. That's my birthday.
Adam. And so we went and did some fun stuff. We can talk about that later. But one of the big fun things we did was we went to the Jim Thorpe Opry House.
Yes. So Jim Thorpe is also named Mock Chunk It's called the Switzerland of North America, Pennsylvania. I had no idea what to expect. I knew that he was planning something. I love surprises, and he was very kind to give me a surprise. And it was super fun. We ate at this amazing restaurant. What was it called?
It's like Mia's or something. I cannot remember, but it was like it was one of those restaurants where it's a chef and a wife team. And it's by reservation only, and I think they're only open a few days a week. You cannot deviate from the menu.
Like you can't even ask like for a different cheese or not mushrooms or something. Like, no, you get what you get.
Yes.
And you don't get upset.
And it was incredible. Like, it was incredible. We had to kind of speed it up a little bit so that we could go to a concert. But it was just a super unique experience. We'll put a link down because it's worth sharing how cool this place was. It's like if you were going to go open up a restaurant and be like, no, I'm going to cultivate the taste buds of everyone who comes. So I think the menu is always changing based on like availability of produce and that kind of stuff. Second to none, if you're in Jim Thorpe, it's the restaurant to at least go one time.
And the opera house was right there. So this is an old opera house, and they had now they have bands and they have other like readings and other things there. And you had gotten tickets to this Canadian band called Bywater. And I've never heard of them. I didn't know anything about them. I mean, I didn't even know we were going, but I knew nothing about them. Like the talent on that stage blew me away.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It was I think it was a 5-piece band. They had a saxophone, keyboard, drums, and then bass. And then the singer was like very akin to Janis Joplin, like with a Louisiana flair. And they would do these solos in the middle of their acts. It was just incredible. And then of course we went and started listening to them on Spotify, which made them even more endearing to us. Just a really phenomenal band. Go check them out, Bywater. They are incredible. I don't know how they aren't a household name, honestly.
So the next day was Christmas Eve, and we decided to take everybody down to Jim Thorpe downtown. They had a big Christmas market down there. And that was, what we had been doing. We've been going to Christmas festivals, Christmas markets, Christmas lights. And it was very cold. This is Pennsylvania in the mountains. And it was very, very cold. And so we didn't make it super far. But we were able to see a lot of the shops. They've got a beef jerky shop that has like every single type of beef jerky you could imagine. It's got a library that just looks like a house. It's like this public library. It was so cool. They had this little like upper balcony, like a Juliet and Shakespearean upper balcony. They had a lot of like little trinket stores. They had a Christmas, like an all year round Christmas store. We ended up getting a Christmas ornament.
Got a Christmas ornament. Later that night, we ended up getting Chinese food from down there too.
Yeah. So we always do Chinese food on Christmas Eve. But the whole city, just lights everywhere. We heard the Christmas bells because it's the Switzerland of America. All the church bells played a Christmas tune, and that was just so special to hear and partake of.
Yep.
And you kept saying that they were baby mountains because you're from Utah and you're used to these like huge, majestic mountains.
Mountains in Pennsylvania are not like mountains anywhere else. Even the ski resorts are like, they're cute. They're cute versions of what we had in Utah. But it was incredible though. They've got like Amtrak plus these other trains.
Oh yeah, we saw the train. They've got a Christmas train that we didn't do on Christmas Eve, but we did end up doing. Santa wasn't there, but we did end up seeing 2 penguins, a teddy bear, a snowman. Yeah, a snowman.
But our youngest was so bummed because we didn't really understand what the train was because we'd done a little train with him. This was like full on train, hundreds of passengers just for this.
It was the Reading Railroad. If you've ever played Monopoly.
That's round trip they do through Jim Thorpe for about an hour. And we were there just too late to get seats on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. So
we had to promise him we would come back for the train.
Yes. So we did do that. And that was fun. If you were in Jim Thorpe, you should do that. You get to learn a lot about the history, the coal mining, the railroad, all of that. And that was really cool. Okay. And then it was Christmas. So we just had our cozy Airbnb. We had a fire. We had a normal Christmas. So like we mentioned before, we really relied on Amazon to get us our stuff, the stuff that we wanted, the stuff that we needed. We had done the legwork where we had, made our lists and checked them twice and decided what would be the best gifts for each child. And then it was just a matter of making sure they were going to arrive on time at the right destination and The biggest problem we had with Christmas was we didn't bring wrapping paper or ribbon with us. Now,
Oh, yeah.
ribbon is a big deal to me. I want my packages to have ribbon on them, and we could not get enough ribbon. I was really sad about it.
No.
We were like, sign up for Walmart Plus. See if Walmart Plus will deliver it.
And we ordered some extra, and they didn't deliver as much, and tape and all that stuff.
Yeah. So plan ahead. If you end up doing this, you need wrapping paper, ribbon, and tape, or whatever you need. Make sure you have enough. That was a little rough.
So after Christmas and moving all the way from Texas, going through all of that crazy travel, we just wanted to take a break for a little bit. Kind of took it easy a little bit. Let the kids open their presents, found some firewood for the fire, and kind of just tried to relax a little bit after all that stress and busyness of traveling.
So as we were kind of exploring and driving around and kind of getting the lay of the land, we found this place called Penn's Peak.
All right.
And Penn's Peak is a venue where they have more live music again. It's also a restaurant, but they have like kind of larger concerts. And we went out to lunch there one day, and we saw that they were going to have The Machine. Now, if you haven't heard of The Machine, they are a Pink Floyd tribute band, and they are considered one of the best. But I got to tell you, I thought I was at Pink Floyd. Now, I'm too young to have been ever at Pink Floyd, but I still thought I was like at Pink Floyd.
It was incredible. And just, yeah, we were probably some of the youngest people there, but we did bring our oldest son and daughter with us.
Yeah, we brought the twins. We wanted to, the whole point of this is to spend more time together, have these experiences. So we ended up bringing the twins, and it was just so cool. Like the drummer was female. We got to talk to them afterward, kind of hear a little bit about their story, talk one-on-one. And it was just really, really a cool place.
Year after year, running over the same old ground, happy found the same old fear. Wish you were here.
So Penn's Peak, Bywater Call, and The Machine, like so awesome. And then another place that we found while we were exploring was a place called the Old Country Junction store.
Oh, right. So we were looking at things to do for New Year's Eve, and I found on Google this kids celebration at Country Junction, which is the country's largest. What are they called? Country stores?
Yeah.
Or mercantiles or whatever. Like, it's the largest country store. I don't know what makes a store a country store, but this is the biggest one. And so we took the kids there. We were able to get them, like, they played a lot of bumper cars.
They had bumper cars that like spun around.
And arcade games and some really fun stuff. And at noon that day, they did a countdown and dropped balloons down from the ceiling. It was packed. I think it's because this is a small country area. Parents would jump on any opportunities to take their kids to do something.
Oh, they also had bounce houses.
Uh-huh.
And then they had free popcorn and free hot chocolate.
Yeah.
And that was included. So we just had to pay like just a small price. It was very affordable.
Fee, yep.
And then they got to do everything that they wanted for 2 hours.
So we did have to go back to Country Junction later to like get the full effect, and which we'll talk about later, because it was that in itself is a crazy place.
Yeah. But yeah, so we celebrated for the kids. We took them there so that they could celebrate New Year's Eve and have something really fun to do. And then that night at home, we just wanted to be together. So we played games. We went to the grocery store after the Old Country Junction. Everybody picked out what they wanted to eat. So it was just this smorgasbord of just random stuff. And everybody did their own random thing. And we just ate all night. We had sparkling cider for the midnight hour. I don't think our little guy made it, but everybody else did.
I think we were watching Hallmark Plus.
Oh, we did. We signed up for Hallmark.
That's one thing we signed up, probably because of Dahlonega.
Yeah.
We were looking at Hallmark movies, and which ones were filmed at Dahlonega.
Yeah. And they're just so innocent.
Yeah, and so we ended up getting Hallmark Plus so that we could watch a bunch of those shows, and it was a lot of fun.
It was fun. It was family. It was innocent. It was clean. and we were just together, which was the whole reason that we decided to do this in the first place. You get so bogged down with all the responsibilities and the things you've signed up for and the places you need to be, that this was just such a great reset.
So that is it. That is how we got from point A to point B, how we actually did the thing. We actually left the suburban lifestyle to live our remote lifestyle in this Airbnb in Pennsylvania. We have so many new stories, additional stories to tell, especially next episode when we talk about
how we actually did it. We're going to tell you, how did we take everything that we own and put in an itty bitty living space?
So today was about how we did it as well, but the next one is going to be the logistics part, how we actually made it happen.
So we will share all of those with you. If you have any questions, be sure to ask them. We would love to answer them, fill you in on everything. We would love to hear what you are doing. Did you travel for Christmas? Are you living remote? Where are you traveling? Tell us all the things. We love the community.
Do like and do subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.